Hi, I'm Mel Van Dusen, and welcome to the show. You know, when I first started interviewing people, I interviewed a woman named Nadia McCaffrey. And Nadia had 3 near-death experiences which completely changed her outlook on life and also her outlook on death. And she explained in detail what the near-death experience was. And it just so happened that the day after the film showed, our neighbor called us. And she said, you know, the way this was presented, it really opened up the possibility that there may be some consciousness after death after all. Well, a week after she told us, she had to go to the hospital to have work done on an aortic aneurysm, I think it was. And the surgery was expected to go well, and she was expecting to come home. Well, the surgery went well, but her kidneys failed, and she became paralyzed on one side. And she decided that rather than live this way, she would just go home and die. We went to visit her. She approached the whole thing with dignity and grace and put us at ease. But the thing that really came home for me was that the day before she died, she turned to her granddaughter and said, "I see Bob, and Bob is waiting for me. I know that he's waiting for me." And when I heard that, it made me realize that, you know, if I can do a show on near-death experiences and have this kind of effect on people, then I've really done something worthwhile. So, our guest tonight is one of the original researchers on the near-death experience. She has the largest research base of both children and adult experiencers. She's written 7 books based on her research. She's lectured twice at the United Nations. She's appeared on Geraldo, Regis Philbin, and Kathy Lee, I think it is, and Entertainment Tonight, and Larry King Live, and now she's with us today. And she's written these 7 books, and they are Beyond the Light, We Live Forever, Beyond the Indigo Children, Coming Back to Life. It's about the after effects of the near-death experience, and my hand is barely able to hold all this. And Children of the New Millennium. It's children's near-death experiences. I'm going to have to put some of these down. The New Children and Near-Death Experiences, Future Memory, and the one that I can relate to most accurately, and that one is The Complete Idiot's Guide to the Near-Death Experience. This is a really fun book, and I highly recommend it. It answers all your questions. So, having told you what, excuse me, after what my guest is about and what she's done, I would like to introduce P.M.H. Atwater. Hi, Dr. Atwater, welcome, finally. Finally we've got this thing off the show. We had a long time trying to get the tapes going, but we're finally here.
Yes, we are.
Now, you've been interviewed by many, many people over quite a while, and I imagine most people have, you know, stock questions they start out with, but I'd like to not do that.
Okay.
What question would you like me to ask you to open up this whole subject?
What's unique about the near-death experience?
PMH, what is unique about the near-death experience?
There you go. What excites me about the near-death experience, because so many people try to compare it to other types of experiences or other types of changing consciousness or altered consciousness, and they'll say, well, it's oxygen deprivation, or it's connected to ketamine or drugs or this or that. Mm-hmm. And then we talk about shamanic experiences and vision quests and spiritual experiences. And it's really kind of part of all of that. But what makes it unique is, of all of these different experiences, it is the most intense, the most clear, the most coherent, the most remembered over time, decades later, and it has a pattern of after effects that's both physiological and psychological that really validate this experience and says that very clearly it's not a hallucination, no way could it be. It's not oxygen deprivation. No way could it be. It's not any kind of hallucination that we know of, that we have records of, that it's even more than anything we can imagine, but of all of the different kinds of experiences people can have, including baptism of the Holy Spirit, or the vision quest, or the shamanic experience, or the spiritual experience, it's one that most often happens at an accident scene or in a hospital room. It's almost as if we are being given this incredibly lustrous and complicated and awesome and mind-stretching experience that happens where a doctor or a nurse or a scientist can investigate it. It's almost as if it's made to order for the technological age.
And what do the machines show has happened when this near-death experience happens?
Most of them, not all of them, but most of them happen at the point of death where there's no vital signs at all, no heartbeat, no pulse, no breath, no involvement of lungs, and the brain is flatlined.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of skeptics have said, well, the brain obviously is not dead. We know now through clinical study that is not true, that most of these cases, in fact, and clinical prospective study, most of these cases, the brain is flatlined.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you have your consciousness, your ability to perceive and respond to reality that's actually hyper? You can hear better, you can see better, you can smell better, you can respond better, you are capable of movement, you're capable of thought, you can jokes if you want to, you can do anything you want without that body.
Okay, how is that possible?
Well, we can't define that, of course, yet as researchers, but we know that it happens.
You know, I've heard some research reports. I think Pim van Lommel, the
Van
guy,
Lommel.
Van Lommel.
No, got to be a good German here.
Lommel.
Van Lommel.
The guy who wrote a groundbreaking article in Lancet.
Oh, yes.
He said that I think he said that people who have been born blind can see during a near-death experience. They can actually see their body. They can see what's going on around them. They can report what they saw.
He didn't research that as much as Ken Ring did.
Oh, I see.
But he was the one that was able to prove that the brain is flatlined and that there's no way that the individual who has these experiences can describe what's going on in the other room, can describe what's going on to them and their body, can describe what's going on in their home. The individual leaves the body, maybe goes home. He was able to prove that there's no way any of this is possible to occur, and he was able to prove that scientifically. And by the way, he was able to verify some of my research, and I'm in the Lancet study.
Oh, you are?
Yes, I am.
I didn't know that.
You know, that was December 15, 2001, and I told everybody, by golly, I won an Oscar for Christmas. You know, I'm in Lancet. And that's pretty good.
Right. You know, I've heard that when people have these experiences, well, for one thing, they go through a tunnel, and
Well, sometimes.
well, that's true. Now that I think about it, you know, the classic.
There's not that many that go through a tunnel.
May I speak?
Yeah.